Hello, you are welcome back to the channel. This is another video on JAMB use of English language. And do you know that I have made a good number of videos on JAMB use of English language? You can see the link to those videos in this video's description, and I have compiled them in one playlist so that it will be easy for you to get all those videos at once. In today's video, we want to talk about the reciprocal pronouns and the reflexive pronouns. These two types of pronouns are the most confusing pronouns that candidates often mistaken for the other. So we quickly begin with the definition of the pronouns. Let's begin with reciprocal pronoun. Reciprocal pronouns are used to show that two or more persons or things exchange mutual actions. Exchange of mutual actions means that what I do to you, you do same to me. It is like a give and take thing. We have only two reciprocal pronouns in English. The first one is each other, which we use for two persons or things. And the second one is one another, which we use for more than two persons. So when they are two, we use each other. When they are more than two, we use one another. Example A. The two friends joyfully hugged each other when they met during the reunion. Because the sentence says two friends, then we use each other. This means that friend A hugged friend B and friend B hugged friend A. So it is a mutual action. They did the same to each other. Let's come to example B. Femi, Audu, and Kelechi usually help one another. Femi, Audu, and Kelechi usually help one another. This means that Femi usually helps Audu and Kelechi. Audu usually helps Femi and Kelechi. Kelechi also usually helps Femi and Audu. The three of them usually do the same thing for one another. Note that we use one another because they are more than two. If they were just two, we would use each other. Let's come to reflexive pronouns. Reflexive pronouns are used to show that the doer of the action is also the receiver of the action. Let's take a look at this sentence. The hunter shot himself. The hunter shot himself. The hunter is the doer of the action, shoot. The past tense is shot. S-H-O-T. He is also the one who receives and suffers the action. Other examples of reflexive pronouns are myself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, themselves, themselves, oneself, yourself, yourselves, and other selves. Note that these ones do not exist in standard English. They are selves. The reason their selves does not exist is that there is a possessive adjective, so we cannot use it with self. Their self, their selves, those two do not exist. Myself also does not exist because my is singular. It cannot carry selves. It can only carry self. So myself is wrong. Himself, for the same reason, himself is also wrong. Him is one, so it cannot carry plural self. It cannot carry selves. It can only carry singular self. So himself is wrong. Herself, itself, those two are also wrong. Ourself is also wrong because our is plural, so it cannot carry singular self. It can only carry the plural selves. So we have ourselves, not ourself. Let's see examples in sentences. Mary smiled when she saw herself in the mirror. Example B. The kids dressed themselves for school. Let's get to the interesting part. The differences between reciprocal pronouns and reflexive pronouns. The major difference between the reciprocal pronouns and the reflexive pronouns is that in reciprocal pronouns, the subjects reciprocate actions, while in reflexive pronouns, the subjects perform the action on themselves. Still not clear? This example will help you understand better. Let's come to that sentence again. Femi, Audu, and Kelechi usually help one another. Now, see the diagram below that particular sentence. Let's start with Audu. You will see that Audu helps Femi and also helps Kelechi. The arrows of help from Audu go to Femi and go to Kelechi. Now, let's come to Femi. You see that Femi helps Audu and also helps Kelechi. Now, let's come to Kelechi. You will see that Kelechi helps Femi and also helps Audu. None of them is selfish. Instead, they are helpful to the other. That is reciprocal pronouns. Now, let's come to the right side where we have reflexive pronoun. Femi, Audu, and Kelechi usually help themselves. Reflexive. You would see that the arrow of help from Femi goes back to Femi. Femi is not helping Audu and Kelechi. Femi is helping himself. Audu also helps himself. Kelechi also helps himself. None of them is helping the other under the reflexive pronoun. Instead, they are being selfish. That is why all the reflexive pronouns end in self, selves, because it is a pronoun of selfishness. Whether good or bad, you are always doing things back to yourself. You're always the receiver of your action, just like that hunter who shot himself. Let's see another example to clarify more of the differences between the reciprocal pronoun and the reflexive pronoun. Under the reciprocal pronouns, we have Mr. and Mrs. Benson love each other. Mr. and Mrs. Benson love each other. Look at Mr. Benson. Arrow of love from Mr. Benson goes to Mrs. Benson. And the arrow of love from Mrs. Benson goes to Mr. Benson. So, Mr. Benson loves Mrs. Benson. Mrs. Benson loves Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson and Mrs. Benson love each other. They both reciprocate the action of love. That is reciprocal pronoun. Now, let's come to the right side where we have the reflexive pronoun. Mr. and Mrs. Benson love themselves. Mr. and Mrs. Benson love themselves. Now look at the arrow of love from Mr. Benson. Goes back to him. The arrow of love from Mrs. Benson also goes back to Mrs. Benson. So it means when we have that sentence, Mr. and Mrs. Benson love themselves, it means Mr. Benson loves himself and Mrs. Benson loves herself. They do not reciprocate that love. That is the implication of the sentence, Mr. and Mrs. Benson love themselves. However, if you want to say that they both reciprocate the love, that Mr. Benson loves Mrs. Benson and Mrs. Benson loves Mr. Benson in return, then we are going to use the reciprocal pronoun on the left, where we have Mr. and Mrs. Benson love each other. Let's see this example as well. James and I blamed ourselves for losing the game. James and I blamed ourselves for losing the game. This means James blamed himself and I blamed myself for losing the game. But when we say James and I blamed each other for losing the game, James and I blamed each other for losing the game, it means James blamed me and I blamed him. I hope you get the difference. Let's come to related JAMB past questions. Question 94, UTME 1979. The head of state in his New Year broadcast to the nation emphasized the need for Nigerians to regard Dash as members of the same family. The need for Nigerians to regard Dash as members of the same family. A. Themselves. B. One another. C. Each other. D. Yourselves. E. Theirselves. Let's begin with the option E. Theirselves. If you remember the list of reflexive pronouns that I told you did not exist in standard English, theirselves is one of them, so theirselves is wrong. Let's come to option D. Yourselves. Well, Nigerians, the person who was talking, who was broadcasting here, is also a Nigerian, so yourself is not appropriate. Let's come to each other in option C. We use each other when we are talking about two people or things, reciprocating actions. But when it is more than two, each other is wrong. And since Nigerians, the citizens of Nigeria, are more than two, each other is wrong in this context. Then we are left with option A, themselves, and option B, one another. But what we need here, is it a reciprocative pronoun or a reflexive pronoun? If we say Nigerians should love themselves, it means each citizen will be selfish. But then we want Nigerians to exchange that particular love as family. I see you as a family member, you see me as a family member. Then the correct option is the reciprocal pronoun, which is option B. The need for Nigerians to regard one another as members of the same family. Question 31, UME 1982. Jane and Jarawa love dash very much. Jane and Jarawa love dash very much. A, themselves. B, each other. C, one another. D, themselves. E, selves. Let's begin to eliminate the wrong ones here as well. Remember the example I gave to you between Mr. Benson and Mrs. Benson? Okay. So if you want to say that they are selfish, then we are going to have the option A, themselves. But of course, the sentence does not mean they are selfish. It means the two reciprocate the love. So option A is wrong. Now, because there are two, Jane and Jarawa, just two people, then the correct option is each other. Jane and Jarawa love each other very much. It means Jane loves Jarawa very much, and Jarawa loves Jane very much. One another could be correct if they are more than two. Themselves, I told you, is not an expression we can find in any standard English. Then E, selves, is not appropriate in this context. Let's come to the next question. Question 75, UME 1986. My wife and I met dash on a ship going to Liberia. My wife and I met dash on a ship going to Liberia. Ourselves, one another, each other, ourselves. Okay, let's begin with the option A. Ourselves in this context means something else. If I say my wife and I met ourselves, it means my wife met herself and I met myself. So that does not make any sense. Option B, one another. This could be correct if the persons are more than two. But the question says my wife and I, just two. So option B is also wrong. Option C, each other. Well, this is correct. This means my wife met me and I met my wife. My wife and I met each other on a ship going to Liberia. That is the correct option, each other. Option D, ourself. Ourself is also wrong. It is one of those reflexive pronouns I told you do not exist. Reason is that our is plural, then self is singular. That does not exist. Let's come to question 83, 1993. He moved out of the house because the landlord and his wife were always fighting dash. He moved out of the house because the landlord and his wife were always fighting dash. A, themselves. B, themselves. C, each other. D, one another. Looking at this particular sentence, the landlord and his wife were always fighting themselves. If we pick themselves here, we mean the landlord is fighting himself and the wife is also fighting herself separately. That is not what the sentence means. Option B, themselves. That does not exist in any standard English. Remember? Option C, each other. This is the correct option because we're talking about the landlord and his wife. They were always fighting each other. It means the landlord is fighting his wife and the wife is also fighting the landlord in return. Option D, one another. This could be correct if they are more than two. But of course, they are just two, the landlord and his wife. So one another is wrong. The correct option is option C, each other. So we have come to the end of this video. If you enjoy what you are seeing on this channel, do well to subscribe to the channel. Then drop some encouraging comment for me in the comment section. See you some another time. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.